So I've set up a little experiment here, the purpose of which is to determine the correct order of metals for double toning a Kallitype print. I've gone ahead and made a print here. I've cut it in half for the purposes of saving material. Now, one half I'm going to put in the palladium first until I see a color change. From then I will wash it and put it into the gold bath over here. Now, if the palladium is more noble than the gold, the palladium should remain in place and the gold will only tone the remaining silver. The desired effect is that the highlights will be a nice warm color and the shadows will be cool. Now, if the gold is more noble than the palladium, it's going to replace the palladium in the print and you will effectively end up with a gold tone print. Now, for the other half, I'm going to do the reverse. I'm going to first put it in the gold bath. Once I start seeing adequate color change to the midtones, I will then remove it, rinse it, and put it in the palladium. Now, if the gold is more noble than the palladium will not replace the gold and only tone the remaining silver, the effect of which will be cool highlights and warm shadows. If the palladium is more noble than the gold, it will replace the gold in the image and turn the whole image warm, effectively leaving you with only palladium metal. So I'm going to begin. I'm going to take the right half of this image and I'm going to set the left half aside for later. And I'm going to put this in the palladium bath first. You can already see that it's starting to change color. It changes the color pretty quickly and uniformly, so I think that's good. Try and rinse it thoroughly to stop the reaction. And just to kind of compare where we started with. So the left is untoned. The right is now toned in the palladium. I'm going to put this one back. Now that this has been rinsed, I'm going to put it in the gold toner. Gold toner bath on the left. Let's see what happens. Now the gold toner tends to be a bit slower than the palladium. I did just replenish this, so hopefully it goes a little faster if any change is to occur at all. And the goal is to take this to completion. Now, while that sits in the bath, because it's no longer timing critical, it just needs to go to completion, I'm going to take this half, the untoned half. I'm going to put it in the gold until I see a cooling effect, till it gets through the midtones, right about here. Remember, this is the left half to not get it confused with the other one. I'm already starting to see a color change with the gold first side. It's having a cooling effect on the print. The shadows they're starting to turn a little bit more neutral brown, and the highlights are turning a bit more neutral. I'm going to go a little further. Alright, that's starting to look pretty good. Might give it just a little more. I'd say that's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to rinse this. So the side of the print that I gold toned first is now going to go in the palladium. Now I'm going to leave these here for a while and I'll cut back to when they're done. Alright, and we're back. It's been about 20 minutes. It took a little while just because basement's a bit cold today. So on the left is the half of the print that went into the palladium first. Remember, it turned a nice brown and then it went into the gold. Now the one on the right is the gold first and then it went into the palladium. So at this point, the one on the left has turned a blue-purple color, which is indicative that it's done from my experience. It doesn't get any more tone than that. And the one on the right has cool highlights and warm shadows. I'm going to get these into the fixer and then we'll take another look. All right, so I got these fixed. They're still wet, but we can judge them at this point. So on the left, this is the print that went into the gold first, followed by the palladium. This was the one that went in the palladium first, followed by the gold. Now let's start with this one here. Now, taking a close look at it, hopefully this comes up on camera well. The highlights are a neutral to cool neutral color, and the shadows are a warm brown black. Now this one here, again, this is the one that went in the palladium first. As you remember from before, the whole print was a brown color. It tones rather quickly in the palladium. But all of that is gone now. It is now a purpley blue color through and through, and a density increase across the board. Now, if the palladium is a more stable metal than the gold, the expected result would be that the, this one in particular would be brown all the way through, much like all my other palladium prints. But that's not what we see here. What we see is that it retained the cooler highlights. Now, this one, if the again, if the palladium was the more noble or more stable metal, we would have expected to see the warm highlights with cooler shadows, but that's not what we got here. What happened instead is it looks like the gold went all the way through the print, which is indicative that the gold is the more stable or noble metal in this instance, thus replacing the palladium within the image. I'm hoping the results speak for themselves. It's a rather stark difference.